Now that might be fun. Get one of those big inflatable balls that you run around in like a big hamster wheel and try to get across Morgantown.
There you go. We solved it. Get that the big.
Woo!
They have those at the mall.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed.
Oh no, he went the other way. Yep, there he goes.
All alone. Oh, no, there he goes. Well, hey guys, what's going on here? River Sullivan coming at you right here, right now. Pre-recorded yet again for your live listening pleasure. For another episode of Season 5 of This Evening Tonight, where it's time to sit back, relax. I got a bottle this time, hang on. Crack open a cold one for another hour, give or take or so, of that fantastical piece of bullshit. That is us. And with us here, as we always know, the man of mythical legends, the king of Goose Down himself, looking real suave and comfortable and plush, if you will. Very, very cuddly.
Pretty sure it's polyester.
I want to
thank you. I appreciate it.
Snuggle up on you and let you be the big spoon, because everyone likes being the little spoon, because it's always safe.
Big spoon. I'm sick of being the big spoon.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm just fan-fucking-tastic, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. Yeah.
Can't get rid of me. I'm
Little
like
spoon always needs its big spoon.
I'm like a bad case of the crabs. I'm always hanging on you, nipping on your nuts.
Just itchy. So this will probably be the last episode, guys, that you hear that little...
That crackling
fireplace. Because as we're sitting in here in the bullshit building, it's cold. I can see my breath. I can not feel my toes already, and we have only just begun.
Yep. I actually wanted to bring that up to you about my demands for what I expect from being on this podcast. I think during our winter months, we need to be recording out of Australia.
I'm good until we have to...
Yeah, it's summertime down there.
Yeah, until we run into a flock of huntsman spiders, and then I'm out. They travel in packs.
Oh, you got a good point there.
Packs of spiders.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, that big Australian fire did not take care of all those spiders.
Yeah, no guns.
Did not, yeah.
No guns. Can't even shoot them.
Definitely should shoot those things. I mean, oh wow, that makes me think about it. Have you been reading all the news in Australia right now? Like they're just borderline having a revolution right now.
No, I do not subscribe to any Australian news.
I do. For whatever reason, the Google box is like, hey, you might like this news story, and I'm reading about it. So, like, we're aware that Australia was pretty much, they disarmed their people about 4 years ago. They outlawed guns for the most part for them.
4?
It was like 4 years or so. It wasn't that long ago.
I think it was in the 90s. After the Port Royal massacre, like 37 people got killed.
Yeah, but they still allowed some of the populace to keep their guns. Like, this was an outright, like, nobody has a gun kind of law.
Well, how else do you expect them to enforce socialism?
What, with no guns?
I was being facetious. Facetious.
I was like, I don't know, harsh language? We are letter writers. We shall write letters. I don't know why the Australians sound German now, but... We'll write you a letter, eh? Hey? Write your letter, mate.
Were you just suggesting that the Germans, the Nazi regime of the Germans were socialist?
Were they?
No.
Okay, but I wasn't, so thank you for that.
In many ways, yes, but in all the ways that are important, no. Very, very much no.
I like how you're already on the defensive, like this son of a bitch is already hitting me with these subtle jabs, and really I'm just talking.
It's natural. It's absolutely natural.
You're working out the arm there? Get a little froggy here. It's going to get...
Spent some time with my parents over the weekend, so
it's going to get spicy.
Everything after 10 p.m. is very political and very angry, so...
It's very raw.
I'm very much on the defensive all the time.
So I know I told you that the old lady is... she's a Democratic-leaning person. Was not a fan of the previous president. And found her a Christmas gift the other day I picked up. It's very nice. But I was waiting on my wrapping paper to come in, and it came in today. And I don't really subscribe to any particular political aisle
Bullshit.
for the most part. Now, as we've talked, I am conservative leaning. I believe I have more libertarian values. I'm definitely not what you'd call an alt-right or extreme hard-right guy.
Like Ron Paul libertarian
No,
or,
that's
or Tea Party libertarian? Because Ron Paul libertarian I can get behind. Because that's very Thomas Jefferson. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, not like the crazy-ass Tea Party, which those guys have... It was kind of cool to see a new party, and oh, shit, they're crazy. All right. No, but anyway, so I got this wrapping paper, and it says, Trump 2024 all over it, take back America.
And you think...
I thought it was hilarious. I saw that, and I was like, oh yeah. So I got a 10-foot roll of it and wrapped her gift up. Had to sneak in the house, had to sneak this thing under my coat. And she's
It's all me. It's all me.
She's like, what do you got there? I said, it's Christmas present.
Tube sticking down his pants, sticking out his knee.
Oh, no. I had the gift first. She's like, why are you buying Christmas gifts now? I said, well, Vice President Kamala Harris told me to get my Christmas shopping done earlier because of this whole supply chain issue. Which, yeah, the shit's getting hard to find. Anyway, so I wrapped this thing up. And I come back out with it all wrapped up. And she's like, what? Well, let me see your wrapping paper. And I showed it to her. And she's just, I could feel the blood pressure rising in the room. It was like the disturbance in the force. I could feel it. And she looked down at it, was like, and then looked at me, and I was like, you gonna just tear that paper apart with some vigor on Christmas morning, my love? And she was like, yes, I fucking will. I said, well, we don't have the tree up yet. Where would you like me to put this? She's like, put it in your goddamn office. I'm like, okay, I love you. I love you too. Like, I don't know why she sounded like so mad there, but it was weird. I don't know. People just can't take a joke. I think it was funny.
It is funny. I just I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Hopefully the gift on the inside will make up with the wrapping paper on the outside.
it
Maybe
won't.
this thing, like
Definitely won't.
snapping on the politics and real quick was like, yeah, I mean, I'll come clean with my listening audience. I did vote for the orange guy. Did I agree with how he conducted himself? Fuck no. Did I agree with his policies? Yes. The end. I could give a shit what he said on Twitter, Tweetbox. I don't, whatever the fuck it is. But making us energy independent for the most part, getting rid of OPEC, casting them aside to where we were the number one producer of natural gas and gasoline. I'm okay with that. Because a lot of people want to go, well, it's bad for the environment. Well, first of all, I'll tell you, the jury on fracking or hydraulic fracturing of shale is still kind of out. Like, probably is. But at the end of the day, most people are selfish, and we only care about one thing when it comes to that, is how much am I going to pay at the pump? My understanding is with the current administration that we were automatically thrown back to OPEC because the executive orders that were administered were to, or not establish, but abolish the hydraulic fracturing of shale gas on U.S. soil. We also have the fuel reserves where they were asked, why don't we tap into those to lower prices? President Biden stated, well, that's only going to lower it 8 to 18 cents.
Well, those are strategic reserves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
right there, strategic.
We're
Tapping
really,
the reserves, I don't agree with.
We're not really supposed to get into those. I mean, that's like that's something that we're gonna need. Should we ever should China ever call our debt? And
that's looking real suspect too. Have you seen the stuff they're up to right now?
Oh, with Taiwan.
Taiwan, how they've pretty much surrounded it.
Yeah.
They're like, it's just naval exercises.
No, it's not.
No. Why is it's an island? Why are you looking at us? Exercise. Okay. And then also at the same time, you have what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia. Have you read that?
I'm familiar with. This isn't the first time it's happened.
Yeah, but it's the first time on this scale. Like in terms of the Ukraine, you're talking Russia in general.
Russia in general.
Yeah, like a couple years ago we had Crimea.
I'm talking about Russia trying to flex their muscles on that western border of theirs. They want that. They have a natural gas pipeline, or like pipeline, whatever it is, natural gas and oil through there, and Russia wants it.
I mean, Russia still has all that oil and gas in Siberia, but the only issue is it's so fucking cold.
Nobody wants to go get it.
Nobody wants to go get it because of the shit they discovered in the permafrost. They were trying to, what was it, back 2008? There was guys out in Siberia, Russians are out there, and they were digging through the ice to take core samples to try to gauge how far they'd have to go for this oil. So when they're pulling these core samples of this permafrost, this ice that's been frozen, this water that's been frozen for millions of years, as they were taking samples of like one of the cores, they found bacteria that was millions of years old in there. And then as it thawed, it started to come back to life.
Yeah, it's very dangerous stuff.
And they had to burn it. Like they were like, "Oh, burn it!" Like I was like, "Oh, great!
Burn the ice.
This is
burn
like that Wes Craven's The Thing." You know? Like, oh, we found it in the ice.
Was that Wes Craven?
Was it one? Isn't it? No, was it Ridley Scott? John Carpenter.
Yeah, I thought
John
it was
Carpenter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was going through all the spooky guys until I got to the good one.
Lots of spooky guys.
Lots of
Clive
spooky
Barker.
guys.
No, he's a writer. Sorry.
Bob Barker.
Bob Barker. This summer.
Damn it! I hate that Bob Barker.
Come on down to... I forget the name of the show.
Coming in 2022. They thought they had all the money in the world. They were wrong. Was it $1 or was it $2.69? Bob Barker in. The price is wrong, bitch.
You
I want to
get
see
one
that.
penny over and you're dead.
Oh God, it's American Squid Games.
Oh my goodness.
How much are them Tide Pods? $17.99. Oh fuck!
That show was crazy.
That show was nuts. I was all on board to play it until they like the tug of war. I was like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah,
I don't want to be responsible for other
I didn't
people.
want to play any of them.
I could have done red light, green light, and I would have been like, you know what? I'm okay at red light, green light. I can do this. But if it was just like a 1v1 game, like it's on me if I lose or not. But then they were like, oh, the tug of war, then the whole glass hopping thing, and the playing marbles. Like, oh shit.
Yeah, like once it's out of your hands, and it's just luck. I don't know if I could handle that.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea. Like even I don't want to do any of it at all, but the like the red light, green light, that's on me. You know, that's how like I understand that's in my control.
That game did have me laughing. Where number one was the old man's running through, and he's just smiling the whole way. It's like he's loving this. He's loving this. And then by the time they got to the marble game,
no spoilers.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Please skip ahead a couple minutes. I called the old man. I called it because when he was walking away, and I said, "Nope." I'm telling you, number one, he's the man.
He was the only person that they like.
They didn't kill him on screen.
Person that was killed.
His death in quotes was off screen. That's like cinematography or like storytelling 101 for something like you want to.
Unless it's No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
And then
I thought maybe at first for a second I was like maybe it's just because he's old. They don't want to. Nobody wants to see a nice old guy die because he was like a super sweet guy. Like you're like, look,
River, they killed a lot of people on the screen.
They did, but nobody old though. Nobody about the elderly, you know. But yeah, no, I called it. I looked there. I said, "He's it." I'm telling you, that's the guy, and I was right. The ending of that show. More spoilers if you fast forwarded. Keep going.
The ending really aggravated me.
The ending pissed me the fuck off.
It really pissed me off
because he was like, because the front man who calls him on the phone is like, just don't get on the plane. Just turn around. Don't make this a part. Don't make this an issue. I'm like, first of all, they gave you all the money. For the guy that won, they gave him all the money. That he didn't want to spend for like a year, and then he finally starts spending it. And what's the first thing he fucking does is get a Karen haircut in Ronald McDonald red and buys like a Joker purple suit. Which, okay, who am I to shit on Korean fashion? But the old gray man theory of blending in and trying to be a badass when he's turning around, he's like, he turns around, he's like, I'm going to bring this organization down. I'm like,
not with that haircut.
Not with that haircut and that purple ass suit.
They're going to find you real
Some
fast.
fucking lucky sniper is going to have a heyday with it. Like, oh, no.
Dude, Elmer Fudd could put him down. Like the most unimpressive hunter in the world could find him and put him in the dirt easily.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was like a gaping plot hole or loot. Like it just like it made me lose a little faith in the show. I was like, man, there's going to be another season. What the fuck is it? This guy better learn.
I didn't have
some Krav Maga.
I didn't have that much faith in the storyline. Anyway, I'm not trying to say anything bad about the show. The show was really, well made. But
I don't know, just that scene where the cop was in there with the guy with the lion mask on, and he was like, "Satisfy me, and I'll let you live." And I'm like, oh God, he's going to have to do what he's got to do for his country. And he didn't, though. I was so happy that
it really the characters and how solidly they were entrenched in their particular way of going about things.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these characters did not change throughout the entire show until they died.
No.
And that does not track.
Yeah. I mean, of course, maybe we don't know Korean culture. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I don't know any culture.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you look at it like American culture through many facets.
What
like
American culture?
the old-fashioned style of, like, where one could say, Americans are hardworking and everything's bigger in Texas, blah, blah, blah.
No, they are not. I'll give you the everything's bigger in Texas.
I'm a hard worker, sir. I will.
But here in West Virginia, we're the fattest state now.
We are. We're also the number
took that
one
crown, so everything's bigger in West Virginia.
We got the diabetes crown. We got the fat crown. We got
and the stupid crown.
We got the pumpkin spice crown.
Really?
We buy 140% more than any other state in the country.
That's because
pumpkin spice flavored shit.
That's because they all want to act all bougie.
I'd like to think I had something to do with those numbers because I had like 9 bags of Dunkin' Donuts pumpkin spice coffee in the house.
Man, you're just a drop in the bucket.
Oh shit! I'm keeping them in business. I love my basic white girl beverage. It's so good. I could go for some right now because of the cold, but I'll just settle for some of these Nathaniel Bradhams.
Vintner Lagers or whatever they are.
The winter lager. Yes. I don't know why I always refer to that German accent. I just like doing it. So like, yes, Queen.
That's terrible.
Gutenberg.
Sir Stevens Gutenberg.
It's Gutenberg. Guten Tag? No. Gutenberg. I don't know. Anyway.
From the Police Academy. Mr. Gutenberg.
Mr. Mahoney. So, speaking of everybody being stuck in their ways, like us good old-fashioned Americans, Kyle Rittenhouse was just proven not guilty by a jury of his peers on the 5 counts against him, minus the 6th count of weapon possession of a minor, which was thrown out earlier in the case.
You use that word proven pretty loosely.
Beyond a reasonable doubt per court and legal definition.
I don't think it's really so beyond the reasonable doubt.
That was their requirement. The judge stated it for every charge. It must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. And, I mean, I'll give the jury that. They asked for every extra piece of evidence they had in their deliberations.
He hasn't been proven innocent beyond a reasonable doubt. He just hasn't been proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That is, you're misreading.
I just believe you have very good verbal judo, sir, and I like that.
No, I'm telling you what the judge actually, when they say if you're going to find somebody guilty, it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. If there is a reasonable doubt, you don't have to prove that reasonable doubt.
I see what you're saying.
For them to be innocent, there just has to be a reasonable doubt.
I think you should be a lawyer, Dave, because you're very good at dissecting my own words against me. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not even mad. Like that's a true skill. Like I don't have that. I get my own words used against me a lot, usually in my own household where I think I say things, but I say them differently to get.
I could talk you into hating your own mother. I'm good. I'm good, baby.
So anyway, it was after 2.5 days of deliberations, the jury declared not guilty on all charges. And I watched the video of that, man. Like, everything aside for me was that kid wasn't acting. Like, I watched it when he tried to give his testimony. He gave a testimony on up to the principle of everything that happened during the shooting, up to when he got to the shooting, how he lost his composure. Like, you could tell that's somebody struggling to maintain composure. That's not somebody that was, as LeBron put it, crying in crocodile tears, which was kind of funny if you look online. Somebody put up a compilation of all the times LeBron James was egregiously injured. Like, I watched where he bumped his knee and went down, and 8 people are hoisting him up off the court. He's like, ah!
You take that back. LeBron James is the highest paid actor of our time, sir.
Just look at that fucking Emmy Award-winning fucking bombshell. Space Jam 2. Who gives a fuck? I think that was the actual title of it.
I was really just talking about the acting during the injuries.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's probably what's going to win an Academy Award for Space Jam, right?
I wonder what would happen if you submitted a sports clip to the Academy of one of these soccer players.
I was going to say, I'd like to think FIFA.
Oh God! Oh!
The FIFA ones are the best. Yeah, LeBron ain't got shit on like,
Bravissimo!
You gotta see the Team Brazil won 18 Academy Awards. I'm not saying Team Brazil in specifics because I don't watch FIFA. I don't watch the football. But we all know they're out there because the internet is more than willing to show us. If you don't watch the football, we're going to show you these videos anyway. So anyway, I was alive the year ago. Surprisingly, yeah, I was alive back then. That almost a year ago, it was August 25th, I want to say, was when the initial Kenosha riots had happened after three or four police officers, I don't remember their names, shot a fleeing black man 9 times. I don't know the specifics of that case. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I'm going to tell you what I know, and that's what I know. And so everybody was rioting, and then you had enter Kyle Rittenhouse, who was apparently there protecting a car lot of an owner that one of his lots had been burnt down prior. And he was like, I need to protect this, and somehow, way, shape, or form.
That was not his testimony. His testimony was that he went to the riots to provide first aid.
He also said he was providing security, though. Like, him and his group was there providing overwatch and security on this car lot.
Which of those things was he trained and authorized to do?
None of them, Your Honor.
Actually, you're wrong, in a way.
He went to that police explorer and was training to be an EMT. And the testimony has been stated through, even before that, originally he was acting as an EMT and he was providing security for a car lot. He was there with, I believe, some friends, or I don't think they were any kind of associate. I think they were friends of his. But there was photos of them. They were all there with TAT gear on. Yeah, they had rifles and whatnot. Now,
so you gloss over these facts.
I'm not, Your Honor. Might I finish?
Proceed.
You'll allow it? I'm giving you the quick lowdown of it. Just like when you boiled down and said Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 people and shot another, that's glossing over a lot of the other stuff too. I mean, if we're going to go tit for tat, I'm just trying to do the low, quick rundown here for people that are listening to the show that might not understand.
Right, just finish spewing your bullshit so I can talk some damn sense into you.
Okay. So
I'm joking, River. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm drinking this Fireball. It's got me a little loose. I apologize.
You're all good. But one could use the classic one thing led to another. But the one thing a lot of people were speaking of that it started, I guess there was a Duramax on fire. Mr. Rittenhouse had moved forward with a fire suppressor or a fire extinguisher to put the fire out. Allegedly, people that started said fire were pretty upset with him about doing that. He then drops a fire extinguisher, and then there's varying accounts based on testimony and cameras as to what happened next. Some people are saying that Rittenhouse dropped the fire extinguisher and then produced his AR-15 to where another individual had a gun. Or they're stating that he put it down after he noticed somebody had a gun. And there was some real close-up footage of it that was very grainy that was trying to explain. It said, if you watch, you see this guy walking with a gun, which I'm looking at it, looking on the timeline. You do see a guy approach him that has a gun down low. But Rittenhouse also has a low-slung rifle. Then you see him put it down, and they're saying he grabbed his gun with the right hand, because he's a right-handed shooter, to present that rifle to what he perceived as a threat. Other footage now that has also been dissected is showing him transitioning to grab his left arm to grab the front end of the rifle and transitioning forward. Didn't actually draw down on him, is what they were trying to prove with that. There was 2 issues with the videos during the case of that, where the defense was given the grainy video. The prosecution had the full high-res one that came from the State Department, which came out later, I'm going to say not too long ago, probably about 4 days ago, as of date of recording, and these are about a week behind here for our viewers. So that was what also led to the weapon charge getting kicked out. But anyway, I'm getting too much into it just to get to the fast forward here to the end of it. Something happens in between there. Somebody approaches somebody. Rittenhouse ends up shooting someone. He then goes on foot, making his escape. Gets run down, flat out on the ground. Guy tries to hit him with a skateboard. Dude runs up, kicks him in the head. He shoots and kills another individual. And then a guy draws down on him and advances on him with a firearm. And Rittenhouse blows his bicep off, and he lives.
That was the EMT.
It was the EMT.
The guy who he shot in the bicep. was there at EMT rendering aid.
Was he a licensed EMT?
Was Kyle Rittenhouse a licensed EMT?
I'm not asking that question, Your Honor. I don't know why you get so defensive with me over here. I'm just asking you a
I
question.
mean, if we're going to use vague definitions, we're going to use vague definitions.
I'm not. You said he was acting as an EMT.
From what I read, this man who he shot in the bicep was a licensed EMT who had a pistol, who was trying to get Kyle Rittenhouse to surrender his weapon because he had shot two people who may or may not have hit him with a skateboard.
Yeah. I did see the video. That dude did smack the shit out of him with that skateboard.
Have you ever been hit with a large, heavy object?
I have.
Swinging at a... you think you could bring up a AR-15 and pop somebody?
If somebody's swinging it that hard, like I've been hit in the face with a 2x4 before, you goddamn right. Because if I realize it's not just a one-and-done bar fight, if I
a
believe
17-year-old kid being smacked in the side of the head with a skateboard.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to keep conscious enough to put lead on target?
With adrenaline going, just about anything that's possible.
An untrained person. I'm just
trying to see. I'm just trying to see untrained. Like,
he's 17 years old.
He is.
How trained is he?
He's proficient enough to handle the firearm and know how to use it.
I'm not saying that he doesn't know how to use the firearm. I'm saying how many situations of high blood boiling terror has he been in for him to
I mean, one could always argue the fact that there's a first time for everything, and unfortunately that was the instance that was his first time. Now, they did dissect his defense on that a little bit, where, you know, why, like, for me at the end of the day, do I believe he should have been there with that firearm? Probably not. Absolutely not. He, at some point, in and of his own accord, did place himself in that situation. Now, the beauty of hindsight is it's always 20/20. So
I like this. I like this. You're going on the offense because you already know my defense.
Do I?
Yeah.
I try to go with what I believe is my own common sense. Look, when we have these debates, I'm not trying to take you down. I'm trying to make my case for what I believe in.
I think the fact of the matter is you have this entire political, not even political, but like very strange criminal and like public safety situation going on all over the country, popping up, all these riots and things.
I like to think of it as America's version of running with the bulls.
And you have a 17-year-old who is not licensed to do any security, any EMT work, and definitely not carry an AR-15 through the streets.
That was proven legal, though.
I believe that that's going to become an issue in the future. What I'm saying is if you do have a certain right in your life to protect life and property with deadly force. Now, whether or not that's your property, that
is where it got a little fuzzy there, a little hairy, because it was like, yeah, life, liberty, property, everything you're defending, but it wasn't his property.
That's a very important thing that we need to discuss, because are you in, like, I understand if you're in somebody else's house and your life is being threatened, you or the property's being threatened. That's one thing. But if you're just on the street in a freaking parking lot of someplace that you really have no business being, you're not authorized or specifically trained to deal with these situations. When you bring an assault rifle into this situation and you're untrained and things go haywire, the chances of you getting yourself into a situation exactly like this skyrocket. Like in my mind, this is voluntary manslaughter, period. Like through and through. He had the forethought to get himself there with a weapon in a situation there was no secret. There was no secret Like, nobody's hiding the fact that these riots are whatever, they're just hanging out. No, this was a violent situation that he got himself into with a weapon that he was not. And I don't care what the courts say. You can't have one of these weapons at 17 years old.
Why?
Because you don't have full rights as a United States citizen until you're 18 years
Because
old.
you're not a legal adult. I get that. Okay.
So, you have a weapon that you're not legally allowed to have in a situation that you have no business being in because it's not your property and you are not trained to provide security and you are not licensed to provide EMT services,
Okay.
even first aid. And you end up killing people. You put yourself into that situation, there is a certain expectation that this could be a result.
Mhm.
So, the way I see it, voluntary manslaughter through and through, involuntary at the very least.
Okay. I definitely, like I said, I can agree with and see where you're coming from on that. For me, it was, I don't believe that kid should have put himself in that situation if he was there trying to, do protection,
I
whatever.
really don't. And I understand that he was put in a spectacular situation. That he did what he needed to do, and I understand that.
Mhm.
But two people don't get to tell you what happened. Two people are dead.
Mhm.
And that's something that we need to keep in mind. This isn't just about a man's rights. This is about two people are dead who don't get to tell you what happened that night. They're gone
Yeah.
because a kid with little or no training put himself in an extraordinary position where he could not keep control.
Now, a lot of things that were looked at with this whole case and everything that's been going on with it too, they all talk about like how this is kind of an attack on the Second Amendment, which is what some people do agree with. And I can kind of see it to where they look at it, they fry this kid for what has been legally determined as he was lawfully carrying, to where that could be construed as, hey, later on down the line we can make this easier to disarm X, Y, and Z. But the other thing too was, and one thing that did kind of, it personally pissed me off a little bit was I would see these signs and they would have that, was it Huber and Davenport, were the two individuals that were killed, heralding them as heroes and true Americans, like all Americans. They were the greatest people on earth.
No, I disagree with that.
I mean, yes, two people are dead, but one I know was a convicted pedophile, and the other one was a convicted felon that had 2 counts of strangulation, hostage taking, kidnapping of ex-girlfriends. Like, but then you look at a kid that did a shitty thing in a shitty situation. He's the devil. But two people that had already done heinous things in their lives, not to hold everyone's past against them, but that's things that they'd been proven to do. This is a 17-year-old kid that was placed in this situation.
Right, but you're
that
also
he put himself in it.
This is a logical fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
You're judging the victim, of which the perpetrator had no idea. So it doesn't matter who he killed. It's that he killed them.
Okay. So with that though, like, it was proven that he was trying to get out of there. He made his way to the police at the end of it, and on the footage that he had his arms up, rifle low slung, and said, "I just shot 2 people. I just shot 2 people." He did actively try to turn himself in.
Okay.
I will give the kid props for that. And he ended up getting out of there because all the riot teams there were trained on him, like, get the fuck down, get the fuck out of here, you're gonna get shot. Like, and he's like, I shot 2 people. I shot 2 people. Like, he was trying to tell him. And I hate the fact
That's not the story that we got.
it's never going to be the story that we got, depending on who we get it through.
And that's not the story that most of the witnesses are saying.
No.
He got to hang out, like this is what we got. He got to hang out with the Proud Boys, which he did after all this. He got to go out drinking with the fucking Proud Boys, 17, 18 years old. under investigation for capital murder or whatever, hanging out with these fucking jokers. No offense.
Okay. Why no offense to me? I'm not a Proud Boy.
Good. But, and I'm sorry I said that with spleen, but I really have no respect for those people.
Those guys are agitators just as much as Antifa is.
Like, I understood...
I watched them act as agitators on January 6th.
I understood, like the Oath Keepers.
There's a whole bunch of groups.
To an extent, I understood that, but like these Proud Boys, they're just they're the Pinkertons.
I mean, you gotta love any leader that looks like he's out of Peaky Blinders.
No, they're literally like they're union breakers. They're freaking bullies. They're hired bullies. That's all they are. It goes against their specific political views, so they show up with guns and armor, and that's a fucking problem.
It all is, and that's like we've talked about. That's both sides. You got agitators on the left, agitators on the right. In reality, right now in Kenosha, there's probably 30 people out front of that building, or out front of the federal or the courthouse there, or out front of any place in that city protesting, and I mean really protesting, exercising their rights of peaceful protest. The rest from both sides of that have probably been bussed in or carpooled in to go stir up both sides and start some fucking shit. And that's regardless of the outcome of this case. There's going to be bullshit going on in Kenosha tonight.
Well, I'll tell you this. You're never going to change my mind. You piss me off, sir, Mr. River. Actually, I lied. I was not aware that he was running away from a situation. So I will amend my view of the situation. I will.
Like,
I'm going to try to learn from this. I still believe he had no business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we're in agreement with that.
I believe that the deaths of those two people, no matter how terrible they were, and I would like to see proof of their records, sir.
For which part?
The victims.
Yeah.
Who you say were...
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Vile criminal bastards.
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Kyle Rittenhouse didn't know that when he shot him.
No, Kyle Rittenhouse, though, in the articles I pulled, he had...
what I'm saying,
I'm agreeing with you.
Is between our two views of this, I think we've come to, both of us, a slightly different understanding of the situation, especially me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know he was trying to get away when he shot him. But I also
the first one I believe was reactionary, and then he tried to get away and had to take another one out.
It's very hard to kill someone with a 5.56 rifle, super close range, when you're running away.
Oh no, he didn't run and turn and shoot. He was running, and a dude caught up with him. The guy that had testified, the one that had his bicep blown off, Rittenhouse seen him earlier, and he even verified it in his own testimony, which was the best part about the kid who got his bicep blown off. Because they also found out he was carrying the firearm illegally, which was another thing. But
he had a pistol.
He had a pistol. Yeah. He was carrying concealed, which is concealed carry permit that expired 9 months prior to that. But he told them, and they had it on.
Okay, so you're going to bring up the EMT guy carrying illegal because his
that's where I stopped and said, yeah, that's one thing.
Expired,
but they also were able to prove that Rittenhouse carried legally.
An AR-15.
He was legally allowed to carry that. They proved it in the state statutes that because they were originally charging him for it. Do you know why they were originally charging him for it? It was because the rifle, they said, was under length and was labeled as an SBR, but they had no record of the measurement on it. And I watched that live stream in the courthouse where the prosecution said we would like to have the weapon measured for the legal specifications. They said because there's no written record, it's just labeled as SBR. Please bring it out of evidence and measure it. And then the defense just went, please, we'd like to dismiss it.
We're not being invaded. I don't understand why there's an argument over the legality of a 17-year-old person who cannot legally purchase or own a rifle of this sort.
But he's legal to carry it.
He can carry it around town and shoot and get himself in a situation where he shoots two people.
Welcome to the American justice system.
No, that is
loopholes.
Very aggravating to me.
And I can understand that, but this is all I'm saying. That's how they were able to drop that charge, was because of a lawful legal loophole.
I understand, as Americans, we do have this right to have and keep and bear arms. Carry them openly. You got to get a license if you're going to conceal them. Try concealing an AR-15. Not going to happen.
Unless you get one of those AR pistols.
Unless you're Shaq. That really aggravates me.
I get it. I like I said, man, I understand where you're coming from, and I empathize with that. I'm not sitting here going, well, you're fucking wrong. No, you're absolutely entitled to your opinion on this, and that's what I was telling Mrs. Dave that I respect about our conversations on it, because we truly can have conversations. A little heated, yes. A little passionate, fuck yes. But that's the beauty of it, is we can both represent each side in a conversation like this. Now back to why I'm right and you're wrong.
I just hope that at some point in his testimony, he admitted and realized that he had no fucking business being there. Because he did not.
I think that he did. I think they were talking to him about it. And he's like, looking back, I wouldn't have done that. He admitted that he carried that AR. He's like, I wasn't trying to look for trouble with it. He's like, I got it because I knew it was cool and scary looking, and he brought it because it was cool and scary looking as that deterrent factor.
It's not his.
No, it's not, but he was, again, legally allowed to carry it. At the end of the day, the law written still won out on that part of the case. But back to his whole thing about him shooting, right? He fired off that first shot after an apparent threat was presented, but then he took off to get out of that situation. Which, fuck yeah, you cap somebody, like I cap somebody and I'm in a mob, I'm trying to put some distance. And the guy that Huber, I want to say it was, no, it wasn't, it was Kruswitz, Gage Kruswitz was his name, the guy that lived. He had seen Kruswitz earlier that night with his buddies. Like, Rittenhouse was standing out that car lot with his buddies, and Kruswitz confirmed in his testimony, he walked by swinging a chain and told them all, said, if I catch any one of you out here by yourself, I will kill you, I will cut your fucking heart out. Those were his words. And he was like, oh, that was kind of scary. And that's where, like, how did you know it was him? They're like, you remember when somebody tells you this. So fast forward back to the first.
Hearsay.
He confirmed it in his testimony.
Who confirmed it?
Kruswitz, the guy that said it.
Okay, I thought you were talking about...
Yeah, no, this is the guy that got his bicep evaporated. So he's like, yeah, I did say that. And then they also were able to confirm that he said his only regret was not killing the kid, which, okay, you know,
so
you just got shot, so I'm not gonna, you know.
After that threat, why didn't Kyle Rittenhouse leave the area?
I don't know. I wasn't able to watch all of that, but that's definitely something I'm curious about now. But fast forward to where he fires the first shot and he's running away. Kruswitz and the other one that was still alive caught up with him. Like, he was running as fast as he could, but they were faster, and like they knocked him down. He like barrel rolled onto his back. Dude ran up, kicked him straight in the face, like with the fucking bottom of the boot, kicked him in the face. Other dude decks him with a skateboard. He rears back to deck him because it hit him like in the neck, side of the head area. Rears back to hit him again. He fires 2 shots, killing him.
Tell you what, I've been kicked in the side of the head.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's as... it's pointed, because it was combat boots.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very pointed effort. Like, you know, the...
Watch the video on it. The guy that... It wasn't a kick. It was like a horizontal stomp.
I'm talking more about the torque applied from a swinging skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kicked in the side of the head with a combat boot.
Yeah.
Hard as shit. I did not have any desire to fight.
Yeah.
After that.
So why did somebody kick you in the head, though?
I may have had it coming.
Okay. So Rittenhouse puts himself in this situation, either willingly or unwillingly. Puts himself in this shitty situation to where he gets kicked. He's already knows that he shot somebody. So I guarantee you, if I do that, my adrenaline's up. And knowing that you have a mob behind you that's going to try to kick you, beat you, whatever, knowing that there's a guy that told me X amount of time ago he's going to cut my heart out and kill me, knowing that there's already that threat present in my mind, that when I get taken to the ground, and I'm like, there's a guy that's going to take my life, I am about to lose my life. So I'm going to stay awake, I'm going to do everything I can, I'm going to have so much adrenaline pumping in me, I probably could lift a car, that I would be doing everything possible to protect my life. Now we can both look at this and say, yeah, he took 2 people off the count, and that sucks.
I think you're taking the superheroes route.
I'm not taking the superheroes route.
I know.
I'm taking the survivalist route.
Like really,
of protecting my life.
Sometimes you get hit in the head, and you go to sleep. You don't. There's no. You don't have
but
time.
Kyle did not.
No, you don't have time for a fucking adrenaline rush. So
he already had the adrenaline rush.
We can't talk about like what you would do because you'd be.
I'm not telling you what I would do. I'm telling you what I would be feeling. What I know would happen if you just shot somebody and then 30 to 45 seconds later, like immediately from that to 45 seconds of you running all out, your cardio's up, your heart's pounding. I guarantee you, your brain is shooting all sorts of shit because you are literally in fight or flight mode. And after he fought, he chose flight. And then he didn't flight fast enough because the fight caught up to him. I'm telling you, if you know, you can hear him. They said you could hear him. And on the video, you could watch, you could hear him saying, get that motherfucker, brain him. Like, you could hear that. If I'm that guy that they're talking about on the video, I'm shitting my pants. I probably peed, but I guarantee you I am full of adrenaline, ready to go. Because we know adrenaline can hit you fucking in an instant. It's where they, like the old phrase, a shot of adrenaline. It's almost instant. And in a period of 45 seconds, it probably felt like 45 years. Because he was so just amped on that.
That's like DMT time dilation. That's not.
But that's what I mean. Like that's your body saying, "Don't go to sleep. Don't let them put you to sleep because you will stay asleep forever." In terms of his self-defense of it, I believe, for me, at the end of the day, I believe he did the right thing to preserve his life in self-defense, not defense of self and others, defending himself.
No, after
did
this
he put himself
conversation,
in that shitty situation? Yes, absolutely.
After this conversation, I think I can agree with you.
Okay.
I mean, if he was in fact running from this group that had intent to harm him, and I'm not, you can't say kill, it doesn't matter if it's life or limb.
Yeah.
You know,
grave bodily harm, as they call it.
Grave bodily harm. Yeah. Then yeah, he was within his rights to protect himself, but he does bear a certain liability for putting himself in that position.
Yeah. So, okay.
Now, I will take away criminal liability.
Well, I'm going to take away Kyle in general. And
well, it's just a stupid name.
And tell you this. So, years ago, we talked about it on our PTSD episodes when it was me and Mr. Hollow and Scott. We talked about it. We talked about some of the things that had happened to us and how they affect us. When my troop was shot and killed in front of me years ago by another guy that I'd trained, it was negligent discharge, but it was labeled as an involuntary manslaughter. He pointed it directly at him, fucking around with the gun, killed him. And everybody's like, man, that should have been more criminal, because he ended up getting like 20 years of probation, like not in jail. So a lot of people were talking to me about this guy getting charged with involuntary manslaughter and not really seeing any jail time. Well, it was told that if he violated anything, if he got a parking ticket, he was going to serve out however long that they were giving him, like the 20 years of probation, and they were going to tack on, like if he could have been on his probation 19 years and 364 days, but he got a parking ticket on that last day, they're going to tack
20
on
years.
20 years of hard time right there. So he's got a real good incentive to not fuck up, right? But again, this guy involuntarily killed one of my best friends. And people would ask me, why not, aren't you upset about that? Don't you think he should suffer? Don't you think he should have got what was coming to him for killing this innocent kid? I said, you can look at it that way. Maybe you're right. But at the end of the day, he was a good person that knowing, like, that accidentally shot a fellow brother. And at the end of the day, though, for the rest of his life, he has to live with that fact. Because, and that's the thing with this country, like movies and TVs, is desensitized a lot of us.
That's very punishing in itself.
It is. Because that's the thing that like movies and TV and video games don't tell you is there's the guilt afterwards. You have to live with that. You have to go from that moment on in time. It will be frozen in your mind.
No, and
you
the
have to
media
go the
that
rest
we
of your
see,
life.
like we watch these movies, bad guys are just bad guys. They don't care.
Well, when the news article came out about him getting killed, about my friend getting killed, they made it look like it was an elaborate plot. to have him like assassinated.
Oh yeah, they got to sell. They got to sell pages.
Sensationalism.
They got to sell it pages.
I mean, I look at this whole Rittenhouse thing, and I take that experience I had into account. Where hell, in this day and age, it was all caught on camera. Yeah, shitty situation, but they painted him as a monster, and he's like we said, he's a kid that had no business being there and doing that. That we can both agree on. He shouldn't have been there, but he did what he had to do to defend his life.
Let's not neglect certain factual things. He carried a loaded weapon.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't
into this situation.
He did, as did multiple other people.
So he is not an innocent person that just did what he had to do. There was a reason he was carrying
as a deterrent to deter other people from.
Really?
Yeah.
River?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He didn't go out there carrying it and pointing at it like a lot of other people did. A lot of other people perceived the threat when somebody was going, "Oh, hey, motherfucker," you like. There's people out there that just point a gun at each other to prove how badass they were. He didn't draw his firearm until he perceived he was under equal threat, which is also arguable under the first person that he shot that was apparently alleged that they drew the weapon under the first threat. That is something that we'll probably never truly know.
River, you are observing this situation as somebody who has had military training. We're talking about a 17-year-old kid.
Well, I'm not a 17-year-old
walking
kid.
around with a loaded AR-15.
Uh-huh.
It's not the same thing.
And I know it's not. And that's where I've said
you do not have the same headspace.
That's where I've said
as
that was the
trained person.
Yes.
Versus,
and I have agreed with you on that. That I'm saying he should not have put himself in that situation. But right where I use the term innocent was that everybody, and we look at courts of law. We're all innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
Don't just okay me.
No, I think this is going to get a little too argumentative if I keep going.
I'm trying to understand your side. We've had heated conversations like this outside of this place. If you're carrying
a loaded gun into a situation like the Kenosha riots, you have to have a certain mindset that you're going to have to use it.
Or the mindset that you might have to use it. Like, I'm a concealed carry person. I carry every time I'm out. I don't go out there going, I'm going to have to use this.
No, but concealed carry drastically raises your chances of using it.
Yeah, because if you don't have it, you can't use it at all.
That's not what I mean. I don't care if it's in your glove box, under your seat, or in your hip pocket. If there's a gun around you, if you're carrying it on you, if you can get to it, you're going to use it because you have it.
And then also, though, to complement your argument is, for me, as somebody that has had training, that knows how to handle a firearm proficiently, and I also am very well versed in law enforcement's use of force models, that I know when is and isn't the appropriate time to use it. And in complement with your argument, a 17-year-old kid probably doesn't know the things that I know. Should he have been carrying that? Again, I agree with you. He probably shouldn't have been. But we're here now. Like,
I'm not saying bring charges. I mean, they already dropped the damn charges for that. But he is at least civilly liable for those people's deaths.
I'm pretty sure they're already filing suit against it too.
I mean, this is going to be the next big OJ.
Oh yeah, that was the whole thing I was saying the entire time this trial was going on, and then how long they deliberate. I was like, this is like fucking OJ.
Yeah.
I was in the 4th grade listening on the radio at school to the OJ trial in the 4th grade. Following that, like, our teacher had us turn the radio on.
You make me feel old.
I know, I feel old too.
4th grade. I was in middle school when that shit was on.
But you know what isn't old, Dave? My love and respect for you, sir.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
And with that, we're all out of time.
Love you too, River.
We really are all out of time here. That, for never really having a plan. I just want to say, we'll talk about the Rittenhouse thing a little bit.
I just want to say, whichever side you're on, it doesn't matter.
We're all human.
Exactly. But if you're not on my side, you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. And that's just how it goes, right? It's America.
You goddamn right it is. Well, for the time being.
You're either red or blue.
Sounds like something somebody on the blue side would say. Get him, boys!
Get him! Get him, Skeeter!
Anytime somebody posts something dramatic like that, like, I'm not all about these politics, I'm like, that sounds like something somebody from the other side would say. Get him, boys! Like, yeah, guys, we're happy to have you stuck with us for this long if you were still listening.
Yeah, hope you didn't quit.
So feel free to tell us in the comments below if you're one of the few, like 5 dozen on YouTube that subscribe to this. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know what team you're on or who was the bigger idiot in the conversation.
I'll take that.
All right.
I want that torch.
I'm gonna wait for a comment to pop up on the YouTube. Like, who's this
Bartholomew?
Who's the Daveinator 64? Like,
who's Big Dick Dave?
Yeah.
90.
Who's Big Dick Dave? 83 centimeter. Contemplating commenting on this.
Sure, my wife would like to meet him.
83 centimeters. Hoorah!
Oh my! I haven't been touched by a man like that in so long.
How's it? They've got the centimeters of a Brahma bull. But all right, guys, you all know where it is you can find us. We're out there anywhere it is you can get a podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, Sounder, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeart Radio, Amazon, and some other shit out there. Check us out on the YouTube to feature none other than Cat Damon in that bullshit fireplace we've all come to know and love. Also, goes without saying, as it usually does, because I never usually say it, we are official affiliates of Duke Cannon Supply Company. So click on the link there below in the description. Buy yourself a little something nice. They got a special going on there we can get you 10% off of called the Metric Fuck Ton 24-count bar of soap bundle, featuring the big-ass brick of coal, it's the big-ass lump of coal, which is their black pepper and bergamot. Frothy the Beer Man, which is their Bush Light sandalwood scented soap. Their Illegally Cut Pine, which is the pine scented, very piney, wonderful pine tar soap. And what was the other one? Oh, yes.
Catch him on my property cutting pine.
The Buffalo Trace Bourbon Barrel Soap, which is my personal favorite.
That's good stuff.
I love that. I got it in the thick body
stuff.
wash and the bars. It's fantastic. So, yeah, going out there, buy yourself something nice. The holidays are coming. Let's get that good supply chain running again here. But all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And until we see you here next time on the show, we hope to find you happier, healthier, and just a little bit less bitter in life. Peace out.